Checkers positions are notoriously difficult to evaluate. Players with decades of experience and even masters and grandmasters struggle. When describing positions, players will often use terms like it's about even, there's a slight edge, there's a big advantage, there's a probable win, there's a technical win, and even an outright win. But what does that all mean? How do you know if a position gives you a small advantage? After an opening sequence of moves, sometimes it's hard to tell who really has the edge. In this video, I'm going to provide you with some tips that should help you in how you evaluate positions. The first tip may sound basic and simple, but it's essential. Always count the pieces on the board. In this position, you can see it's 5 against 5. If you're a piece behind at any point in the game, that's typically not a good sign, and you're usually at a disadvantage and will likely lose the game unless you can get that piece back. If you are multiple pieces down, then the situation becomes even worse. However, if you're a piece ahead, then there's a good chance that you will likely win the game, and you should try to keep that extra piece as long as possible. However, don't rest easy just because you may have the edge and you're a piece ahead. Your opponent will probably do anything in their power to get that piece back. Counting is especially important when you're looking to make an exchange of pieces. For example, if red goes here, white goes here next, and now red is going to look to capture this key center square. But is it a fair trade if red comes on in here? Well, let's look it out and let's actually count it. White is going to capture first piece, so red's down 1. Now red captures it back. Now we're even again. White captures now, so red is down 1 piece. And now red will regain the capture. It's even once again, and we've counted that out. It's really important to do that to make sure that you're getting a fair trade every time. Here's another example of why counting is so important, especially in the early stages of the game. In this opening, which is also called the cross, is very popular. Now, a typical follow-up for white would be this move. However, this move is actually a personal favorite of mine, and let's count the pieces to ensure that this will be an even deal. So white has moved into this square. Red can capture here, and it's all the same ultimately, but this is actually the best capture. So red's going to capture this piece. So red's up 1. White's going to move here next. Red is going to capture. It is now up 2 pieces. White is then going to take the double jump. And now we're even once again at 2. Red's going to take back, so red is now up 1. And now white captures it back, and we're back to even, so all square. The second tip is something I have discussed in a number of previous videos, and that's gaining the center squares. And the center squares are these 4 squares right here. And it's especially important to retain, secure, and defend these 2 squares in particular. So what do I mean by securing and defending these squares? I'll show you an example from a popular opening. So let's go over the popular opening. Here's the sequence right here. And for those that are curious, this opening is called Will-O-the-Wisp. And red moves here next to invite white to capture the key center square, but it's actually a trap, and it's not good, and I'll show you why. Now red is going to attack the vulnerable piece here. Again, just trying to defend it. And again, white is running out of options here. It no longer can defend from this square, so the best it can do is go here. Red is going to continue to press this piece, but white can't give up this piece here because it'll be jumped. White can't go here because it'll be jumped again. So this is the best option, but either way, it's a loss for white. If we take a micro look and really break down where white went wrong in this opening, you can see that there just wasn't enough protection on this square right here. Now, protection means having a piece that's firmly behind it or can quickly move up, or if this piece is no longer here, to block it in. Or on the other side, if maybe this piece is here instead, if red tries to move in, white can either block like this, or it can move up behind and exchange. So when you're situated and trying to get this square, and maybe you've locked in this piece here, ensure that you have enough backing so that it is firmly protected. And again, backing is going to be important in this square here, as well as this square. The third tip is all about mobility. When I say mobility, I'm talking about the freedom to move your pieces wherever they would like and to restrict your opponents from having as many options. If the pieces are even and you are jockeying for control of the center, then the next best option is to ensure you have more places to go than your opponent. This can be extremely difficult to judge and execute, but I'll show you a few examples. In this example, it's 3 against 3. And when looking at the center, red has one center square. It's not the all-important center squares, but at least it's one center square. It could capture this center square by moving in here, but likely the game will be a draw at that point because white is going to move up here, and maybe red will exchange. White will just move up to a king, or maybe red will move here, and the same example. So that's not going to work. Instead, red can restrict the mobility of white by moving in here. White is completely subdued right now. Let's look. It can't go here because red will double jump it. And it can't go here either because then red will jump this piece. This can also work if red is a piece down. The game will be a draw at this point because, again, red will just go in here, and now white will exchange, and the game will be a draw. It can also work if there are more pieces on the board. Let's add this to the mix, and here the same. And again, red will win. In this example, it's still 3 against 3. Red does not have any of the center squares, but it can still capture one now if it chooses. It can go here, a very important center square, but if red does that, white is just going to waltz on in and get a king, and the game will probably be a draw. Instead, red restricts white's mobility by moving here. This essentially freezes white's pieces. Now white has no choice but either to give up 2 pieces. Let's play it out. Or give up 1 piece. Either way, red is up 1 and will win the game. Again, it's 3 against 3. Red does not have any of the center squares, and white has 1 center square. But red can stop white from further advancing by moving this piece here, and then the mobility is severely restricted for white. Let's play it out. White can't move this piece because it'll be captured immediately by red, and it can't move this piece either because of that capture. So its only movement is here. Now red is going to meet that reply by moving up here. Now, white has really no choice. If it moves here, it will get double jumped. If it moves here, it will get double jumped. Its only move is here, and you will still get jumped. And next, white can still go here and get double jumped, or here and get single jumped, but the game is over. So these micro positions can really take place at any point during the game, and being alert to them is going to take both practice and patience. Having mobility and the freedom to move while at the same time restricting your opponent from doing the same is a key concept in this game. Once you have that down, you're well on your way to becoming a great player. I hope this video will help you evaluate positions and even be able to identify with ease whether a position is in your advantage or not. In today's age, there are checkers computer programs that can provide us with a precise scientific evaluation, and they are helpful for sure, but using the tools I provided in this video should be a good starting place. If you haven't already, I recommend checking out some of my other videos that focus on basic strategy. Thanks as always for watching.